But stories like we just saw prove that we all do have a little hero in us.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time right here on Hearts of Heroes.
Ginger, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you. We're watching those flash flood warnings, the kind that you don't drive in, expand. Santa Barbara just got in. Ventura County now, parts of it, up to 4 inches in the Sacramento Valley. But you're also going to end up with a lot of hail, like small hail, but still, that comes from those thunderstorms that will also produce big energy. Now, when you're looking into the mountains, some of those snow levels are coming down below 6,000. Snow 1 to 4 feet. Your local weather in 30 seconds.
Don't make me get up on my seat.
Broke the internet again.
Oh, it's coming in really fast.
Yeah, it's Verizon 5G. The network is crazy powerful. I bet you can't break that.
I bet I can.
Wait, what?
Beyonce breaks the internet, but can she break Verizon?
Broken?
Not even close. No.
I'm running for Beyonce of the United States. Can you hear me now?
No breaking.
Y'all ready for Rocket B?
Still works.
Someone get me down.
Across the tri-state with your local news and weather is next.
We're switching gears a little bit. We're going to get a new look that looks like it was done in a salon, but you can actually easily do this at home. Ginger and the details. Right. So I don't know if you know this, but it is National Lash Day. Yours are looking fine, by the way. Pretty great. That is the highlight or the frame of one's beauty. The greatest asset, your eyes. This segment is sponsored by Kiss, which gave 2 GMA viewers a session with a celebrity makeup artist to show them how to elevate their look. The main event, the red lips. Old red
with its personal MVP, wife Kylie.
I still remember the moment she walked through the door. The first instance is burned in my retina. It was like she glided through the opening, an aura around her.
From the heart. What a story. It's not the last we're going to see of Jason. He's going to. He's too entertaining, too funny, too everything not
so much
to see him every week covering sports or something.
After protect yourself. First, let's go back to Ginger.
You're stuck with us now. All right, that's the big picture. Let's get your local weather in 30 seconds. What does it mean? Gusts to 70 miles per hour had those tumbleweeds flying in South Jordan, Utah. Just new storm. Gusts to 70 miles per hour possible with some of these. Damaging winds in the southeast, especially on the Friday part of it in southeast Texas, most of Louisiana over to Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. But it's big hail on the western side of it for Thursday. Coming up here on GMA, Top Chef star Kristen Kish, Tom Colicchio, and Gail Simmons are here talking about the new season and cooking with a special ingredient. And then our friend Dan Harris here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of his bestseller, 10% Happier.
Run, don't.
And that's something for people to think about. And the fixer-upper. I know you're on call for that.
I was.
Oh, boy.
Bye. Have a good interview. With that, we're going to throw to Ginger.
Oh, have a safe trip. And I loved watching Marilyn in that piece. She's my hairstylist, so obviously not all real. All right, so let's talk about, they'll have more where that came from and some of the other numbers that made the way on the map with breaking records. Memphis was 81. Detroit had a broken. Houston today, once this cloud cover lifts, could see a record in the mid-80s. So we'll look for more of that. Look at some of the numbers. Even Nashville, 71. We're saying it's warm winter for so many folks. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
And today we just have soggy all throughout the day. We start out with more moderate rain, and then we'll get ending the other goodies. Tori Johnson has fantastic
announcement. Hey, Ginger.
Oh, you can't wait for this one, Michael. Well, anybody with a toddler can't wait, because right now we can reveal that Miss Rachel, the children's YouTube singer, entertainer, and educator, is gearing up to release her first ever children's book. And we've got a special message just from her. Check it out. Bookshelves everywhere this September. I've got a long flight. Maybe that's about where I'm going to read. Okay, let's get a check now a little closer to home.
We have a soggy, gray, and wet day today. We have more steady rain right now, 42
inches of snow in the Colorado Rockies. This is big. They've had huge spring snow events, and this is also why we've had such severe weather. Copper Mountain staying open later than they have in nearly 30 years. So they got in the latest higher break one at 91, and Orlando will be at 97. You imagine what that feels like. It'll have the feels like above above 100. And I know we were quite warm yesterday. You felt that summer-like touch? Yeah. Well, that's temperatures back in the 50s and in the Great Lakes back into the 30s. Your local weather now in 30 seconds.
And it's a quiet Thursday morning with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Current numbers in the 50s.
Garfield's Guide to the Perfect Mother's Day. Cook from scratch.
Dinner is served.
Tidy up and relax.
I think we were meant to be.
The Garfield movie. Theaters Memorial Day weekend. Rated PG. Tickets on sale now.
It's the beans have me feeling like a beans have me feeling like a beans have me feeling like a prime time. Woo! Beans. Hey, hey. Beans.
It's not just tornado and damaging winds, but that flash flooding. Look at North Florida. Coming up here on GMA, the DEA administrator sounding the alarm, raising the question, has social media made it easier than ever to get illegal drugs? Also ahead, the stars of the new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes movie are here live. Oh, also, Sean Paul's here live. Your local news and weather next.
I'm Franklin Graham.
Thank you. Let's go to Ginger.
That is the way I love to take in concerts, right on my couch. So I love this trend. Please keep it up, everybody. Fort Lauderdale, Florida this morning, starting you off with a little breeze there, but about to see some record heat. We're seeing record heat already this week. Del Rio broke a record at 106 yesterday. Dallas was 95. That was their first 95 of the season. And Wilmington, North Carolina. Today, Laredo, New Orleans, and Orlando could all break records. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
And for us, today is the start of a cooling trend. Currently, we're in the 50s and the 60s. It's 61 in the city.
In honor of Mother's Day, Tori is here with some moms who are all small business owners. Ladies, good to have you here with us on Good Morning America. We're so excited.
And I was sitting there going,
What is your name? No, I am Proximus. I must tell you his words. Say his words. I am scared.
But you can tell, you said it, but you can tell, you've had so much fun.
Let's go to Ginger.
Oh, it's so hard to do those moves. I got a chance at Weta once. Thank you. All right, let's get a check a little closer to home.
We have a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Current numbers in the 50s and the 60s.
Hey, Jen. Hey, I was just telling you about your grandparents in Naples and how they're about to get doused with big-time rain. South Florida's been in a severe drought, so this is welcome in some ways, but they're about to break this heat records that they've been having for the last 6 weeks, and it all starts this morning. Naples this morning, you could see how it was looking stormy, but we're about to tap into this deep tropical moisture from the Caribbean, and it is going to just pour, especially into southwest Florida. We've got watches up now from West Palm through Fort. Yes, they've been in extreme drought or severe drought, but where you could see 15 to 20 inches of rainfall in just the next couple of days. Most of that falls between Wednesday and Friday. I mentioned the record heat. Well, much of Florida had their hottest May on record. In the last 30 days, all did these watches in the west. So this new ridge that's building in brings El Paso, Las Cruces, New Mexico, all the way back up to Shasta County, Northern California there, into the excessive heat. It's the next couple days, and then by the end of the week, it slides east. 90 of the season, which is a couple weeks late, but Roanoke could see mid-90s. That's a record. Your local weather now in 30 seconds.
Yeah, good Tuesday to you. So nice weather continues today. Right now we're in the 50s and the 60s. It's 61 in Central Park. And
you're reaching to yourself. You find yourself.
Coming up, Junior Wall Streeters, the father and son duo teaching financial literacy to a new generation. Your local news and weather are next.
My name is...
All right, Brittany, it looks like a nice morning so far.
And really enjoy today because it turns steamy later in the week. Currently, we're in the 50s and the 60s. It's up to 63 in Central Park.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that story. I want to start in New York City, where we are warm, right? Like average, a little above. Talking 90s to up to 100 degrees, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for the areas here circled. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
And right now, we're still in the 50s and the 60s. It's currently 63.
Tennis ball size hail in Georgia. Then you had the hail accumulating in Somerville, South Carolina. Today, we will also see more severe weather. This was Luke, Texas, a very high base tornado there. An area in Texas, kind of West Texas, is going to be seeing the brunt of it. But the next 2 days, we open it up in parts of the Great Lakes with the next storm. Let's get a check now, a little closer to home.
And we'll just have a small chance for a light isolated shower this afternoon. Right now, we're in the 60s.
It's been amazing.
Very valuable. Thank you, Jess. We'll be right back.
Celebrate Pride with ABC7. ABC Pride. Pride.
Money to fund my baseball career.
Well, let me tell you right now, have fun at the game.
I don't.
Transportation, a nightmare.
You can't do anything right now. I can't even get back equipped, to deal with it. Sometimes you just have to let it be.
Hollandale Beach hit hard. More than 17 inches falling, 12.
And flooding. Good morning, Ginger.
I mean, this is as advertised, Michael. Unfortunately, we've been seeing this coming. The computer models did a really good job. We were saying 15 to 20 plus inches, and here we are verifying 15 to 20 plus inches already. And that's the thing, that some of these places are becoming our first named storm of the season. So not a great shot in watching it as it sits around the Atlantic coast. On the west side of Florida, you've got another 12 to 18 hours of flood watches. On the east side, this goes through tomorrow night, so it's a little bit longer. Then through the weekend, we'll just see more general thunderstorms. But 5 to 10 plus inches still on top of what you've already had. And a lot of folks will say, come on, this is Florida. They know how to do flash flooding. They know how to have a lot of rain. But Climate Central did a study from 1970. How much rain can fall. In South Florida, about 10%. So you could have hourly rainfall rates 10% higher. Some places a lot higher than that.
And they can't handle that.
Correct.
All right. Ginger, thanks. Check back with you in just a little bit. But
first, let's go back to Ginger. Good morning.
How do I get on the travel dream team is what I want to know.
Exactly.
All right, we've got to audition later. Let's talk about fire, because this is the antithesis of what's happening in Florida. About an hour northwest of Phoenix, we have been seeing the Rose Fire, 200 acres. There are evacuations still in place. At least 6 buildings have been destroyed. All the smoke associated with it. Lots of grass fires starting to burn out west because we've been hot for a couple of days. We'll see. You could end up with 90s all the way through the mid-south. Could see a record 96 in Atlanta. And by the end of the weekend, it really starts to bake. Your local weather here in 30 seconds.
And our quiet weather continues on this Thursday with current numbers in the 50s and the 60s. It's currently 67 degrees.
Chicago O'Hare had their first official 90 of the season yesterday, and that just broke the seal. It was about 6 days behind average, but we're going to see more of that. This heat dome is building in. Great Lakes, Mid-South, going to see records next week. It will bleed into the east. Coming up here, Tori is back with even more summer spectacular deals and steals, and Inside Out 2 stars Ao Edebri and Maya Hawke are
frustrated and confused.
Let's go to you, Ginger.
And I want to show you a tornado in Minnesota yesterday. This is central Minnesota, just north and east of Lake Mille Lacs, and you can see it here with that upward motion, quite strong. They also had damaging winds in excess of 68 miles per hour, baseball-sized hail, and that same cold front slipping south today. You can see it Kansas City up to Peoria, Chicago, all the way to Detroit. Watch for it later this afternoon and tonight, too. And then that cold front makes its way here. So you'll look for severe storms from Pennsylvania up to Massachusetts tomorrow, including New York. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
And right now, we're still in the 50s and the 60s. It's up to 69 degrees in Central Park now.
It's been a slow start for hurricane season, but that doesn't mean that we won't ramp up quickly. We've got a 20% shot of that low that's causing all the rain in Florida of becoming something Atlantic, and then a 40% shot of development next week as this goes toward Texas and parts of Mexico. Colorado State put out their new forecast. It freshened it up, but it's pretty similar to what they had before. Above average season ahead, and the first name, when we get to it, will be Alberto. But look, climatologically, we really don't ramp up until August into early September. Let's get a check a little closer to home.
We are already in the 70s in some spots. It is 70 in Islip and the same in Montana.
Hey, a big thank you to our competitors, and they're all winners because you're all going home with the Weber griddle. Thank you for playing. We appreciate it.
More Americans choose.
Morning, the heat is focused on the southeast. Atlanta could have records today and through the weekend, as could other places. Right here, that high pressure system moving through. Your local weather in 30 seconds.
Ipswich today.
Now we're sunny with temperatures in the 60s and the 70s.
Little lines, Disney Cruise Lines, Lookout Key or K at Lookout.
However you like it.
Point. It's welcoming guests right now. Everyone, that's pop news. It was a hot mess, but fun to do.
Thank you, Lara. We got to get over to Ginger. Good morning.
Is this supposed to be K West then?
Oh,
Huh? Things that make you think.
It's K.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Ks and everybody that's had a slower start to hurricane season. But there's a 20% shot of that one becoming a name storm. That one going to bring some rain to South Texas next week, has a 50% shot of getting a name. Now, we did officially end El Nino, and this means something for hurricane season because it cuts down on what we call wind shear, which is what's keeping those things from being hurricanes. So we'll see less wind shear, hot waters. That's a recipe for above average. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
And we have an AccuWeather alert today. Right now, still a level 2 out of 5 risk for.
Amazing. Thank you, love.
Exactly.
All right, what's this?
So this is from Cadit. Yeah.
Hydration, so important.
Good morning, Ginger.
Yeah, the weather just about as hot as that bet that you had going. That's for sure. Can't wait to hear more about it. But let's talk about the extreme risk for heat. The National Weather Service puts this out. It's focused on Chicago to Toledo today, Cedar Rapids too. Then it starts to move east tomorrow, Detroit, over to Pittsburgh, and eventually into New England. And that's where we're going to see some of those numbers hottest in a decade. And that was the last time Portland, Maine did this. It was July. So this is early and it's lasting a long time. Yeah. People in Santa Clarita told to stay indoors. The air is just too smoky. This fire in Sonoma County prompting hundreds of people to evacuate. At least 2 homes burned. And in New Mexico, really sitting over us. It kind of causes what we call subsidence, sinking air. It's not going anywhere, at least for the next 5 that could fall today are circled. We're going to see lots of records, like dozens of them in the coming days. And that heat dome then slides a little back farther east. So areas like Tennessee, Nashville, for example, by the weekend we'll be seeing records, as will Raleigh. But until much warmer, the next 6 to 10 days. So this is next week. We're going to stick with the above average stuff here in Mid-Atlantic. We could also see flash drought develop. So we're going to be watching for that.
Okay, still a ways to go. All right, Ginger, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Turning now to...
What are you going to say now? It's like the competitive spirit.
I think they couldn't miss last night. They were just feeling that
Yeah, and Dallas Mavericks, great season by them as well. So great playoffs. And congratulations to the Boston Celtics. Coming up, Celine Dion.
Let's go back to Ginger. Good morning.
Morning to you. Corpus Christi getting choppy out there on the Gulf because we have a system that is a potential tropical cyclone. Could get a name by tomorrow. It would be called Alberto, but either way, it's going to bring heavy rains and even push a little water, some storm surge on the order of 2 to 4 feet. So Corpus Christi is in the tropical storm warning, as is Port O'Connor down to the mouth of the Rio Grande. But this thing goes into Mexico. It's just that the moisture on the northern end will get to South Texas. Your local weather in 30 seconds.
You are the tri-state. It is 72 degrees in Central Park. Get ready.
61 mega million.
It's getting hotter and hotter, Brittany.
That's right. Even right now, we're in the 70s all across the tri-state. It is 72 degrees in Central Park, up to 73 degrees in Newburgh, and we have mostly clear skies. We'll continue to see.
Oh boy, gonna get really, really hot. Thank you for that, Brittany. Good. We'll continue after the break.
Exclusively at the Home Depot.
Coming up, we are breaking down exactly what vitamins A, B, and C can do for our summer skin. Plus, the 3 alternative to using mountains of paper towels. I know I got my husband off it like 6-7 years ago. You could do it too and save some money. And then Taraji P. Henson is here live.
The Outsiders.
We went from Minnesota to right there in Pennsylvania. And today we'll see much of the same, some thunderstorms throughout Pennsylvania, Ohio, and western New York, but also this risk area from Duluth all the way down to Garden City. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
And it's already up to 74 degrees in Central Park. Get ready for temperatures.
Okay, it is time now to head back to the classroom for the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of skincare. Breaking down how different vitamins you see in skincare products may benefit your skin and how to use them. And joining us is board-certified dermatologist Dr. Rita Linkner with products that are all shoppable. It's great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I am a product junkie. I love products, but you do need to change them up in the summertime.
Yes.
It's going to be 90 degrees here in New York City today. Transitional weather means you really need to change out products, protect your skin, brighten your skin this time of year.
But there are a lot of products and they come with a lot of letters in front of them, and we're going to go through the letters and then also get to sort of how you layer them. So let's start with A.
A. So vitamin A, retinol, comes in 2 flavors, retinol versus retinoid. People get a little confused. Prescription strength, you need your...
There's Dee Dee.
She just set a lot of girls.
Here, thank you. Now let's go to Ginger. Hey, Ginger.
A prescription from Michael Strahan to drive. I mean, I guess that's good, right? All right, we thought it would be interesting to look. Norwalk, Connecticut, warm coming in. So along the Gulf, it's not as hot, and then obviously we're well above average. Chicago to Boston in the 90s, New Orleans only in the upper 80s. So pretty rare you get to do that. We're going to stick with this above average stuff and really focus it on the Rockies. This is the end of June into early July. Let's get a check now a little closer to home.
And we're seeing the low to mid 70s all across the tri-state. We climb to the upper...
Hey, who's ready to save some money and help the planet? Well, a lot of people use a lot of paper towels, but it is time to break that habit. And your wallet is going to thank you. Consumer correspondent Becky Worley put some sustainable alternatives to the test.
Paper towels are a staple of the modern kitchen, but they also contribute to climate change. In the U.S., we use more than 13 billion pounds of paper towels every year. That's more than 3,000 tons wasted every day in the U.S. alone. The wood pulp used to make paper towels means that fewer trees exist to absorb CO2. You throw in fossil fuels used to transport and produce paper towels. Then you have tons of water used in the manufacturing process. And after they're used, paper towels go into the landfill and produce methane as they decompose, which is way more harmful to the environment than CO2.
So reducing my family's use of paper towels, that just seems like a
turkey on paper towels, but layering in other sustainable options.
And another option is bamboo, which is produced a lot more sustainably.